What my role within AJM, I'm called the Partnership and Engagement Manager. So my role is very much working with our service users through our service user forums and the feedback surveys that we do, and also working with other organisations to talk about what we do, basically, to solve any problems that people may have, answer any questions that people have. So a very varied role I've got. I'm actually based in Derby, so I'm halfway up the country. And so that's what's marvellous, isn't it, about all this technology? We can talk across the country. And I'll let Monica introduce herself.
Thanks, Sue. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica. So I work also with AJM Healthcare, and I head up the PWB, Personal Wheelchair Budgets Department within AJM. So I'll be talking about that as well during the presentation. So giving you a bit more information on that and what you can actually gain from a PWB and what options are available to you as well. So yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. Okay, so here goes. This is where I hopefully don't share my life history. That's my email. You don't want that, do you? You don't want any of that. Shut that down. Stop sharing. Let's try again.
It's the other one, Sue, the other one.
It's that one. Try that one. That's better, isn't it? You certainly don't want my email box, I tell you that. Now, the next thing is from the beginning. Okay, so can we hopefully all see a slide that says AJM Healthcare presentation, not my email? So yeah, as we said, Sue Harris and Monica, we're going to share it between us. So I'm going to just start off. It might be easier if you just say questions till the end. We're very happy to answer questions, but if we go through the presentation, mainly because it's difficult to see everybody when you're on these calls as well. So maybe easier to just save questions until the end. So this is AJM. We are a company, we specialise in NHS wheelchairs and particularly in this thing called integrated wheelchair services. So depending on where you live, wheelchair services are commissioned by the local CCG, and the local CCG decides whether it wants the wheelchair service to be run as part of its NHS service or if it wants it to be contracted out to a private company. If it's contracted out to a private company, there's kind of two models. One is where you get a provider of wheelchairs, and then you would be given the number of an approved repairer. So if your wheelchair breaks down, you contact the approved repairer. And AJM have actually got 7 of those contracts as well. So in some areas, we are just the approved repairer. We don't supply the wheelchairs. However, in 9 areas in the country, we supply the wheelchairs and we fix them if they break down. So we've got 9 of those services, plus a very small contract with the Ministry of Defence in the Loughborough Rehabilitation Centre. So we do some work for them. We serve in excess of 75,000 service users. So that's quite a lot of people really who are part of the service we offer. That is because once you're referred in, we generally keep you on our books. Doesn't mean necessarily that you'll be seeing us every year or every week or whatever, but you are on our books. So 75,000. And over 35 years experience within the field of posture and mobility. Started as a small family company and has grown over time. And so now we have a lovely corporate office in Milton Keynes. I'll just go to the next slide, which shows our locations. So you'll see there, we've got a head office down in Hailsham where we started, and now we've got a corporate office in Milton Keynes as well. The blue blobs are where we operate. So you can see that that's Derbyshire, Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, and then London, kind of across that North London patch, and then down onto the south coast. So Portsmouth, Plymouth, and a little bit there across the bottom coast. So a bit of a spread across the country. So what I'm hopefully going to show you now is we had a video made to show you what inside AJM looks like. It is from the internet, so I'm just hoping that it works okay and everything works. So please cross your fingers for this to work. Have you got volume?
No.
No. I just thought as I did it, you know, when I went to share, there's a little box you have to tick, isn't there, to get volume? Hold on. Right, let's try again.
People that work here and the ethos that we have created and driven throughout the organisation. We all have the same ethics and passion for what we do. We are genuinely here to deliver the very best service we can for our service users. AJM are a GP-led provider, and we ensure that the service user and the NHS is at the heart of everything we do, with quality and continual improvement top of our agenda.
Value for money is key. Savings from integration and high recycling rates can be ploughed back into NHS services, providing a higher volume of activity for the same budget and always maintaining the highest quality.
Above all, AJM is a people business. Our people are here to help and have the knowledge and capability to respond, not just quickly, but they're also getting it right first time, and always with a smile.
Continuous improvement is a key company philosophy. It empowers every employee to contribute to our ongoing development by eliminating key traditional obstacles that could hinder growth. Ultimately, it allows us to continuously improve the quality of service.
We put our wheelchair users at the heart of our services. We literally put our heart on our sleeves. As effective system partners, we work together with our key stakeholders and service users to co-design and co-produce our services.
AJM really listen to us. The Service User Forum is vital as it gives us a voice in the development of the service.
With regular meetings and updates, I really feel involved. AJM really does listen, and they make better changes for all of us.
We've worked in partnership with the staff and the commissioners to make effective changes, like individual wheelchair passports and a standalone service website, and also an improved emergency and out-of-hours service.
I got my custom-fitted wheelchair, and now I've got the independence to go around town, or even across the world.
Our aim is to provide services that excel in meeting the needs of wheelchair users. We have fabulous members of staff who are truly dedicated to providing high quality and effective clinical services.
Having seen these services firsthand as a carer, working for the NHS, and as a provider, I and many of our staff understand how these services can make a huge difference to a person's quality of life. The care that we take on delivering and improving these services is immense. Each person is real, and they all deserve a person-centred approach.
Great, so that shows you a little bit about AJM. You don't want it to start again, that was what happened. So just very quickly to talk about what I do. So partnership engagement, I very much work with service users, either as individuals or through the Service User Forum. So Alex and Isaac that you saw on the video are both members of our Service User Forum. And Charlie's been to our North West London, just recently joined our Service User Forum in North West London. So we really try and listen to what people are telling us and try and make changes as necessary. We also have surveys that we do. We live in a survey world, don't we? We all know about surveys, and everybody asks us to fill in a survey no matter what we do, and we're no different. We look at those monthly, quarterly, pick out things that people are saying to us, and again, feed that in. You saw the charts with the continual improvement. So that all feeds that process. Working with other organisations like yourselves to attend meetings and sometimes be the voice of wheelchair users, kind of saying what I know that our service users are telling us. give talks about wheelchair services, and also we do social media as well. So we've got Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and we try and post things that are relevant again to service users. And I'm going to hand over to Monica now.
Thank you, Sue. So PWB, what is it and how can I get one? So personal wheelchair budget, so a PWB, formerly was known as the voucher scheme. So sometimes people still refer to it as the voucher scheme, and they know a little bit about what the voucher scheme was, or they know a lot about it and have used it previously. So it is a bit of an adaptation of that and an improved version of the voucher scheme, to be honest. So a lot of people aren't aware, but it was introduced as a legal requirement by by NHS England in December 2019. So essentially what it's designed to do is to give personalisation, choice and control over the individual's mobility. So in terms of what it can do, so anyone who's entitled to a wheelchair provision through their local wheelchair service provider has the right to access a PWB. So essentially what we're saying is with a PWB is you have your assessment, you're eligible for a chair through wheelchair services, and wheelchair services will give you a chair that meets all your clinical needs. So you'll go in, you'll get assessed, and they'll say this chair meets all your clinical needs, but actually you have the option of accessing X, Y, and Z through your personal wheelchair budget, and then the individual gets to make a choice of what they want and how they want to move forward with their PWB. And best decide what works for them. Could I have the next slide, please, Sue?
No, in a word, because I can't find the thing. That's it.
Brilliant. So I'm just going to do a bit of a breakdown and talk about the different options that you have under a PWB. So the first is your notional. So essentially what that means is your NHS provision. So you go in, you have your assessment, you're eligible for a chair, and you're given the chair that meets all your clinical needs. So essentially the idea behind PWB is having all the knowledge and the being offered a personal wheelchair budget, and you still choose your notional. So it's still an option under PWB to choose the chair that the NHS are giving you. That is still a choice you're making. So that's why it's available to you under PWB. So a lot of the times people say, you know, that's just the NHS chair. Why is that part of the PWB? Because actually the idea behind it is, as a service user, you're making a choice to have that chair. So that is option one. So your straightforward NHS provision. So your wheelchair services will assess your needs and provide you with a chair that meets those clinical needs. So very much depending on your wheelchair services, that will determine which chairs are available to you on offer. So what that means is each individual wheelchair services can decide on their own matrix, their core matrix, so the range of chairs that they offer. So from AJM, it will differ to other wheelchair services. So just be mindful of that, that's not a set chair across the whole of the UK. That can differ service to service. Next slide, please. Then you've got PWB notional combined. So what that means is you'll be assessed for your needs, and wheelchair services will provide you with a chair that meets those needs. But what you can actually do is you can add additional funds to that chair and add bits and pieces that you think will help to manage your lifestyle better. So as an example, some really popular upgrades that we see at AJM is if somebody's assessed and they're eligible for a power chair through wheelchair services, but they would like to add a seat riser because for whatever reason they might, for personal care, for accessing kitchen cupboards. One of the popular upgrades we see are lights. So if you're going out at night, so these sorts of things aren't covered under a clinical requirement. So what you find is you can actually access those under the PWB. And the great thing that people find with the notional combined is, so the chair is still owned by wheelchair services. So they will still do all the servicing and maintenance. So it's exactly the same as the notional, but you're just adding things to the chair that you feel will help better manage your lifestyle. So as an example, the seat riser. If it's a manual chair, you may want to, which is really popular with the kids, do a colour upgrade and have it whatever colour that you want. One of the popular ones we see is football teams, people wanting their chair in the same colour as the football team they support. So it's really personalising your chair to suit not only your lifestyle needs, but actually your personality as well. So you can access a whole range of things through your Notional Combined, but actually the chair is still owned by Wheelchair Services. So you get the benefits of them still doing all the servicing and maintenance to the chair, and looking after it in that way, but you get to add and personalize it to how you want. Again, depending on your Wheelchair Services, it will determine which chairs are available on offer. But what you'll find is the chair that you're given is the chair that meets all of your clinical needs. And it's just about then going, actually, I would quite like, to add to that, just to change it and to personalize it for yourself as well. Can I get the next slide, please, Sue? Then you have the third party option. So essentially this is Wheelchair Services will assess your needs. You'll be provided with an appropriate level of funding to meet those needs. Then you can purchase a suitable wheelchair from an appropriate provider. So essentially what that means is you want to go outside of the NHS range, which this option allows you to do. So as an example, you go into your local Wheelchair Services provider, and they say, actually, this power chair meets your needs, but actually you've seen a power chair that you would really like to have, just possibly because you just like the way it looks or it has certain features on it. So what you can actually do is Wheelchair Services will fund part of that third party chair that you wish to buy. And the way that that's worked out is it's benched on your the value of your clinical chair. So essentially you'll have your assessment, they'll say this power chair meets all your clinical needs, and this is the value of, just as an example, £2,500. So they will fund £2,500 towards this chair of your choice. So what they would do is they would make sure that the chair that you're choosing meets all your clinical needs, because obviously we'd need to make sure that the chair meets all your clinical needs. But actually it's just giving you the choice to have whatever chair you might wish to have, and you might choose that chair because of the way it looks or what features it has. So it's really opening doors to what's available to you through PWB. And so essentially what it's saying is, as long as it meets your clinical needs, you can go wild and have pretty much whatever you want. And the thing about third party, which some people absolutely love, is the fact that when you go third party, that chair is your chair. Wheelchair Services do not own the chair. So what that means is they won't carry out the servicing and maintenance on that chair. You get an extra pot of money that goes towards your servicing and maintenance. So you can then choose to go third party. And a lot of people, what they do is they purchase these chairs and then they take out a separate servicing and maintenance contract, either with that company that they've brought it from, or some local providers offer that service as well. So actually what they're doing is that's their chair. They can do what they want to that chair. They're not restricted to Wheelchair Services owning that chair. That is essentially their chair. So one of the things that's also great about third party is that you are still entitled at any point to come back into Wheelchair Services for your postural items when you go third party. So if you need a new assessment for a cushion, it's not a case of actually this is a private chair, this is nothing to do with Wheelchair Services, not at all. You are very much still a member of Wheelchair Services, so you're entitled to those postural items through Wheelchair Services. One of the things that gets asked quite often actually is how long does my voucher period last? So typically a voucher is benched at around 5 years, and 3 for adults and 3 years for children. But actually every single PWB that we raise is done on a case-by-case basis. So if at any point throughout you accessing a PWB, if your clinical needs change, or if your chair becomes beyond economical repair, it's just too expensive to keep repairing it, what Wheelchair Services will do is offer you a reassessment and then you go through the process again, and then you get your options. Do you want your notional? Do you want your notional combined, or actually do you want to go third party? So it's just a cycle really of going, actually, it's not a case of I had a PWB before, I want another PWB. It's actually going, these are the choices available to me. What choice do I want to go with at this point? Somebody who might have gone third party previously and thought, actually, I'd quite like the comfort of having wheelchair services do all my servicing and maintenance. I might like to go down the notional combined route, because actually that gives me that security. So whatever works for the service user, it just gives them the choice under all of these options for them to go forward, move forward with. Can I have the next slide, please, Sue?
Sorry, I was just looking about a question about Wales. Wales is different, isn't it? I want to say. I think, do you know much about Wales, Monica? I've got a feeling Wales is different and the PWB doesn't work in the same way. But I'm not sure.
I don't know the ins and outs of that, I must admit, but that's something we can I can look into. But obviously, we're not having a service in Wales. I don't know what the rules are in Wales. But just in regards to what AJM Healthcare do differently, because actually we are quite unique in how we run our personal wheelchair budgets. So at AJM Healthcare, we have a dedicated PWB team, which doesn't seem that unique, but actually all the services I've spoken to, they integrate PWB within their wheelchair services. They don't have a separate team that deals with it. But the benefits of having a separate team is that we deal with all the PWBs across all of our contracts nationally. So there's a center point for people to come for information. It's not a case of, you know, some people might know more information than other people, and it depends on who you speak to, depends on what information you get. We have a centralized team that has all the information on PWB and can run it quite efficiently and effectively. So that, you know, that gives us the edge on PWBs at the moment from what we've seen. One of the things that AJM Healthcare really are at the forefront of promoting PWBs. So what I'm seeing now, speaking to other services on different forums, is that people are starting to now go, right, we need to get to grips with what a PWB is. And I'm actually speaking to other services and helping them, and they're asked coming to me, coming to our department with questions, and actually, what do we do with this, and what can we do with this? So you know, we really are at the forefront of pushing PWBs forward, because people are starting to now realise that they've got to pick up the pace on this. And because the more the service users know about it, the more they're going to ask during their assessments. And actually, if you're not clued up with what it is, and then you're not going to be able to give the best service to your users. So what we've created is PWB brochures that's available on all our sites, and it's actually available locally in some areas as well, outside of the wheelchair services. So this brochure is made up of two parts. So you've got all the information on what a PWB is, you've got some frequently asked questions, and we've also got a product pull-out section, so people can actually see, what can I do with my third party, or what does it mean to go notional combined? What are these popular upgrades? And so it gives people a real feel for what they can achieve with their mobility with this brochure. And this brochure was actually co-designed with within service user forums as well. So we had some service user input on these brochures, and it was co-designed with them. One of the things we've done, we've updated our appointment letters and a lot of our literature. So everywhere you look, you can get that information, what a PWB is. So it might not be, you know, masses of information, but just a little section about what a PWB is, just to spark people's interest so they can contact us and get more information. And it's a case of going, these are your choices, but unless people know what those choices are and what's available to them, they won't ask the questions. So it's just raising awareness everywhere we can, training even our customer services teams within our depot. So they won't have all the knowledge on what a PWB is, but enough to be able to signpost them back to us and give people some information on what a PWB is. So one of the things we're really hot on is ensuring a meaningful conversation happens and takes place on PWB during all of our assessment appointments. So that's just, again, making sure that people are given all the information on what a PWB is, and is they're even offered a PWB, what option would you like to choose? And they can, go away, make a decision, speak to our team, and come back to the services and let them know what they want to do. So again, like I said, the team's on hand to provide information and support to not only our clinical team, but also the service users. And we can offer information on all product ranges and demonstrations of products as well. So extremely busy department, but it's great work that we're doing in terms of being in front of the service in providing PWBs. Get the next slide, please, Sue. So what AJM can offer you. So actually what we do, which a few services do as well, but we can actually offer third-party equipment. So you can, no matter what service you're based in, you can spend your wheelchair services voucher with us. So we have almost like a separate arm that we're able to provide third-party equipment to service users. So we do it mainly at the moment, it's our own service users. Actually, they've gone, I'd like the third-party option. Can you offer me a chair outside of your range? So we would do the demonstration, we would do the assessment. One of the things, we've got some great relationships with suppliers, so we're actually even able to offer these products at a discounted rate. So it's a win-win for the service users because they get to stay what they feel is within the wheelchair services for their assessment. So all the same rules apply with your third-party equipment. You still own it. It's yours to keep. You would be responsible for the servicing and maintenance, but actually the upside to that is we would do the assessment, we would do the demo the product to you, and we can offer a discount on the product as well, and just make sure that you have the right support to choose the right products to suit not only your clinical need, but also what lifestyle needs and goals you want to hit with your mobility. We can make sure that that happens as well. So just on the screen here, just from memory, I think we've got an R82 Stingray buggy there on the right hand side at the top. And then we have got, I want to say that is on the left hand at the top, that is a Sunrise Nitrum chair, which is a really new chair that's been promoted throughout the Sunrise range. We've got a Cushell Compact there on the right hand side at the bottom, and a Q50R, I believe that is. So that's a brand new folding power chair that there's been loads of interest in. So these are the kind of products that you can get via your third party. So outside of the NHS range, some fantastic products that people have, loads of interest in. That folding power chair is one that lots of people have been talking about as well. Next slide, please, Sue.
Sorry, my mouse is a bit sensitive. Anytime I go anywhere near it, it clicks on it.
That's fine. And one of the other things that we can do and offer is, and we've seen a massive demand for this, is powered attachments. So we're able, so not only the third-party products, but the way that we're set up our department, we also offer demonstrations on a wide range of powered attachments and anything to do with the wheelchair, really, and not just powered attachments, because I've got one picture here that's not actually a powered attachment, but it's something that we have a great relationship with the supplier, and lots of people have shown interest and purchased this product as well. So what we've found is actually, since lockdown measures are starting to ease, people just want to get out and about. They want to go places, and they don't want to be restricted by their mobility. So what they're doing is they're investing in their mobility. One of the things that we do try and help with is charitable funding as well, for PWB items, and even these types of private sales, so to speak. These items as well is to try and help and assist with letters and funding for these items. So what we've got here is actually some really popular products that we've seen over the past couple of weeks in particular. So you've got the smart drive with E2 push tracker. So that's a powered attachment. You've got a really popular and really quite affordable power pack, the TGA range, TGA Mobility Power Pack. You've got the eFix system there on the right-hand side at the top. And what that is, that's powered wheels that you can quite easily at the push of a button attach to your manual chair. So it essentially turns your manual chair into a power chair, so to speak. So that's fantastic. And just below that, you've got the M-Pulse F55 hand bike. So again, a powered attachment that you can attach to your manual chair, giving it that powered provision to go further. And then there you've got loop wheels, which it's not a powered attachment, but they give you great suspension, and there's all sorts of benefits with the loop wheels. And some people have even purchased them just because they like the fact that they come in some really pretty colors as well. So some great products there that we've seen a massive demand for. So that's something that we can offer here at AJM, that we do demonstrations of the products and assessments. We always assess these products to make sure that the service user is safe and capable of being able to use them. But that's something we do here at AJM, which is slightly different as well to other services. Next slide, please.
Questions?
Yeah, so questions, but actually if you've got any questions that you think of later on, please do send us an email or call us, and we would be happy to discuss PWB with you in more detail, or send you one of our brochures as well. That's not a problem.